Hello, it's Friday and it's October 20th, and this is C. Cole Dillon, and I'm on with Financial Fridays about your student loans. I got a little surprised with the topic popping up a little earlier than I expected, but we have a jam-packed opportunity for you today. So the topic that we're discussing today are 5 common credit issues that relate to student loans. So before we get started to those questions of the typical issues with student loans, let's start off by giving you a tip. And the tip is that you are entitled to a free annual credit report 1 time a year. So if you want to start looking into this issue, the tip of the day is start with your free credit report. And the place to get that once a year is at annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. So today there are 5 common issues that occur on your credit report. We're going to tell you what those 5 issues are. And then when we are done telling you what those 5 most common issues are that appear on student loans and credit reports, then we'll also tell you what you can do, and we'll also give you a tip put out by the Department of Education on how you can self-diagnose student loan issues. So let's start off with issue number 1 of the 5 that we told you we would tell you about that could appear on your credit report. The first issue is that your student loans may not appear on your credit report. And sometimes this issue leads to confusion for student loan borrowers. If they take a look at their student loan at their credit report and the student loans don't appear, sometimes they think, oh, maybe they forgot them, or they're not really due, or some issue not to look into paying them. And that can be a huge mistake, because whether or not your student loan appears on your credit report, it is due and payable. So one of the things to do is certainly get your free annual credit report every year, but you can also go to studentloans.gov. That's a government website that maintains the status of your student loans. So don't check in one place, check in 2, take a look at your credit report, and also go to studentloans.gov to see whether or not the student loans that appear in your credit report actually match the ones that are being reported by studentloans.gov. The reason that your student loan may not appear on your credit report are a few. The first being that it's just an error by your student loan servicer, that they just didn't report that you have an outstanding student loans. That error is oftentimes correctable, and it will correct itself over time. So that's why it's a good idea to look at your credit report annually to keep tabs on what's being reported about student loan credit in your name. Another thing to know, if you fail to pay your student loans because they don't appear in your credit report and you think it's not due or not payable, the requirement to pay is there whether it exists on your credit report or not, and you could wind up defaulting in that way. And if you default on your student loans, a minimum of 16% of the outstanding principal and interest will be added to your balance. So it's really important to stay on top of the loans that you have and to make sure that they all enter into repayment or deferment or some other kind of status that lets the government know that you are intending to take care of your student loan obligation. The next credit issue that you might see on your credit report is duplicated loans. Duplicated loans are a problem for borrowers because other creditors will look at your duplicated student loans and assume that you have far more debt than you actually have. So looking for the same loan being replicated more than once is important because you don't want to appear to have more debt than you actually have. And that can occur for a couple of different reasons. It could be a loan servicer error. They may have reported the same loan twice. It could be that the loan is being reported twice because it has been maintained by different loan servicers over time. So if you switch loan servicers, it's quite possible that your old loan servicer will report the loan and the new loan servicer will report the loan. And so it can show up twice. So it's really important to make sure that you are paying attention, and if the same loan is there twice, that you ask that the second version of it be removed. The next thing is that occurs as a student loan reporting issue is loans that are being reported as your loans, which don't actually belong to you. And that can happen for a few reasons. One is that you can have the same or similar name as someone else, and their loans are being reported as your loans. So you want to look really carefully at your student loans and make sure that the ones that are being reported are actually yours. It can also happen if you have similar Social Security number to somebody else, and a transposition can easily get somebody else's student loans reported on your credit record. So you want to check and make sure that every loan that's being reported to you is actually your loan. And then the third way that somebody else's loans can appear on your credit report is plain old-fashioned identity theft. So that's another reason to make sure that you look closely at your credit report and make sure that the loans that are being reported are actually loans that you have taken out. The next issue that you might see on your credit report is inaccurate dates on your student loans. So you might have paid off student loans shown as being active. You might have wrong being shown or other information being shown on your credit report as that is incorrect. So if any of that is happening, you want to, again, look at it very carefully and make sure that the information that is being reported is accurate. And the last issue that you might see with your student loans is that your loan might be reported as being delinquent or as being in default. So the status of your student loan might be wrong and it's not. So those are the top 5 issues that you might want to look at for your student loans, and make sure that you are placing yourself in a position to do something about it. So I'm going to run through the 5 once again, and that is that loans not appearing on your credit report, or duplicated loans appearing on your credit report, or loans that don't belong to you appearing on your credit report, or inaccurate information being reported about your student loans, or an incorrect status of your student loans. Those are the 5 top credit reporting issues that you are likely to see with respect to your student loans. So if that happens to you, what should you do about it? Well, these things are all resolved in the same way when you have a credit reporting issue, and that is that you must respond in writing to the credit reporting agency about what the error is. And so the way that you do that is that you write a letter to all credit bureaus that are reporting inaccurate information. And in that letter, you want to make sure that you detail the errors that appear on your credit report. And here's another tip for this issue. If you have, and you want to write a letter, you don't have to figure out what to say in the letter. The FTC has issued a sample letter that you can use for credit reporting inaccuracies. And you can find that letter on the website www.consumer.ftc.gov. And following this, we'll put these website links on our Facebook page so that if you are interested in getting these letters, you'll have the link available to you. When you write your letter using the FTC model letter, make sure that you edit the letter and make it appropriate to your circumstance, but the model letter is a good place to begin. So you take the model letter and you edit it to your circumstance, and then you want to make sure that you attach to that letter any supporting documentation, or basically what's your proof of the error. So it's not good enough just to say that there is an error. You have to be able to supply proof about what the error is. So you want to make sure that you attach that to your letter. You also want to make sure that any letter that you send to a credit reporting agency where you are disputing something that's being reported about you, that you also keep a copy of that letter for your own files, just in case the credit bureau agency does not respond appropriately. The next tip is to make sure that when you do send that letter, that you send the letter certified, return receipt requested. And after you have written a letter, included the documentation, made a copy, mailed it to the credit reporting agency, then you wait 30 days. And in 30 days, you should get a response from the credit reporting agency with respect to the issue that you are reporting of the inaccuracies in your credit report. But what should you do in the event that the credit reporting agency does not respond? You can submit a complaint to the Consumer Financial Protection Board, that's CFPB.gov. And CFPB is a consumer financial watchdog agency that was created by Congress in the aftermath of the 2008 economic meltdown. And what that agency does is it acts as a watchdog on your behalf, so you can report to the agency the issue that you're having, and they will help you navigate through the solution.